All right, everyone, what's going on? It's Steven. Usually where I am right now, I don't typically shoot any of my videos here, except this video, this new lesson that we're adding in today is kind of something that came out of one of our weekly webinar trainings. One of our students asked for us to make a video about this. And again, just so everyone remembers, you're in Market Hero. If you want to learn something, or you don't think I'm explaining something well enough, or you want to dig deeper, all you got to do is ask me. So within a week of someone actually asking us to make an actual video on this, we are. So full disclosure, I have a couple of cats right now that are running around, so if you hear things in the background, I apologize for that. However, I want to get this information out to you as quickly as possible. So the question is, or the question that was presented last week on the webinar was, how much theta decay should we have? So we kind of already know, if you've gotten to this point of the actual trading lessons, you know what theta is, right? Every single option, and options are synthetic shares of stock. Every single option, okay, has something called theta, which measures the change in price of an option from one day to the next. All options that are yet to expire have a component called theta. And theta is the value that is removed or extracted from an option every single day, no matter what. Okay, so obviously that's why it is maybe a little bit more advantageous to be an option seller as opposed to an option buyer. And obviously there are times and places for that. And we'll get to those later on in the actual section. But again, theta is the amount taken out of options every single day. So obviously it sounds like a pretty good deal, right? If you sell something and then value gets removed from it every single day, well, that's a good thing. And that's what theta is for options. So the question presented was, we're talking a lot about theta and theta decay and how much theta decay you should have, but we're going to put an actual number on it right now. So how much theta decay should you have? Well, as an option seller, if you sell an option, remember, theta is removed from it every single day. So if you're an option seller, you're positive theta because theta is working in your favor, okay? So we benefit from that theta decay. So the question proposed was, how much theta decay should we have? And that's actually a really good question, okay? So let's kind of take a look here really quick. I have SPY up, and you can see I'm in one of the monthly contracts. I'm in my Analyze tab in the Thinkorswim platform. I'm looking at my options chain for SPY. And what I've done here is, one of the data points that I've been able to pull up is theta. Okay, so this is the amount, and you can see it's negative because this is the amount of value that's being removed from an option every single day. So if we were to go ahead and sell this 260 put in SPY expiring 40 days from now, the value that would be removed from this option every single day would be about $5, okay? Now obviously theta changes, so tomorrow might be less, might be a little more, but as we stand here right now, it's going to be about $5.97 a day, okay? And again, you can see we sold the option, so we are positive theta. And again, positive theta is good. Positive theta works in our favor if we're a net seller of options, if that makes sense. So the same thing if we're going to be selling a call, for example. If we're going to be selling this 275 call, well, right now we're expected to make, because again, theta is the value that's removed from an option every single day, and when we're a seller, we benefit from prices going down, so we're expected to make $3.45 a day. And obviously, as time goes on, and as more and more value gets removed from options, the theta decay number will go down, but don't worry, we'll talk about that here in a second. So let's go back here. Okay, great. So the question is, pure math speaking, if we have a $10,000 account and we collect $10 a day in theta decay, what will our return at the end of the year be? So again, we have a $10,000 account, so $10,000, and if we are positive 10 theta a day, What does that mean? Now, before I get into that really quick, theta decay is something that is for 365 days of the year. So it's not just like Monday through Friday, it's Sunday through Sunday. So if we have $10 a day that is actually coming out of the value of the options that we're selling, and that happens 365 days in the future, or excuse me, it happens 365 days a year, we're expected to make about $3,650 for the year. So if we have a $10,000 account and we collect $10 a day in theta decay, what will our return at the end of the year be? Well, if we have a $10,000 account and we collect $10 a day, we multiply that $10 a day, again by 365, and we get $3,650. What type of return would that be on $10,000? Well, that would be 36.5%. Okay. Now, what happens if we have a $10,000 account and we collect $5 a day in theta decay? What will our return be at the end of the year? Okay, so again, we have a $10,000 account and we want to get to a 5 theta number. So let's see if we sell a $3 wide call spread. That's bringing in about 90 cents a day in theta. So if we do that 6 times, we're right around $5 a day in theta decay. So this is exactly how you would do it on a $10,000 account if you want to get right to that 5 theta number. So if this were the case, okay, if we made $5 a day for 365 days, we would make about $1,825. And obviously on a $10,000 account, that's about an 18% return for the year. Again, that is just facts. Theta is the value removed from an option every single day. So again, if you're positive theta, okay, if you're positive theta, you will benefit because again, you're a net seller of an option and we make money when the value of the option that we sold comes down, okay? So what about if we brought in $20 a day, okay? Ask yourself, what would that return on that $10,000 account be at the end of the year? Well, again, it's a very, very straightforward math formula. So again, we would bring in about $7,300 for that year, again, while we have that account of about $10,000. And the way that works out is that obviously we're bringing in $7,300 on a $10,000 account, we expect to have about a 73% return. Now, that's great. Some people like it a little bit more risky, and some people like it a little less risky. There are some people who are maybe more familiar with being a seller of options and less positive theta. We have some people who are less familiar with it. We have some people who are more or less comfortable with it, etc., etc. But if you are not used to having a consistently successful account, okay, and let's say you aren't familiar with the proper trading size for you, you don't really know how to be diversified correctly, I would suggest building a portfolio with the goal of collecting 0.1% of the value of your portfolio a day in theta, okay? Now, what does that actually look like? Let's see a simple formula for the way to figure that out. We take the portfolio value and then divide it by 1,000, and that's the target theta number. So, if we have an account of $1 million, okay, we want to divide that by 1,000, and if a good theta number is 1,000 a day. And again, really quick, if we have $1 million account and we collect $1,000 a day, what is our expected gain over the course of the next year? Okay, very simply, it would be 36.5%. We bring in about $365,000 on the $1 million account. Again, 36.5%. So for those people out there who are maybe new to this, aren't really comfortable with selling options, don't really know how to, have small positions and be able to have a lot of really great positions going on, my suggestion for you, again, take your account value and divide it by 1,000. And that's your target theta number that you need to have every single day. Now, what's going to happen here is every single day, your theta numbers are going to go down because, again, the value is going to get removed from those options every single day. So what obviously this means is you're going to want to have positions continuously put on, okay? You want to keep on putting on positions so that theta number can stay consistent. You can sell these 6 call spreads right here, and that's great, but at the end of the day, tomorrow, Okay, we might not be collecting $5.38 a day in Theta. It might be $4 a day in Theta because the value, again, Theta gets removed from those options every single day. So you're going to need to go out there and find more positions to continuously keep that number where it is. But again, having that 0.1% a day shouldn't really be that difficult for anyone out there. That's a good number. If you maintain that number at a minimum for throughout the year, you should have about a 36.5% return for the year. So if the question is, how much theta decay should I have on your entire portfolio, you should be collecting about 0.1% a day in theta. The way to figure that out, take your portfolio value and divide it by 1,000. Nice and simple. I'll see you guys in the next video.